We farm mainly sheep and cattle, but now we've obviously diversified slightly into agroforestry. And you've got to use the land to its capability. So we've got some areas of ground here that are really well suited to grazing, but other areas of ground that aren't, and the best thing to do with them is to have trees on them. Planting trees isn't something you do on a whim because there's a lot of forward planning that needs to go into it. Everything from site selection and site preparation through to actually having those seedlings to then put in the ground. So you almost need 2 years to really effectively plan and have all your ground prep in place. This block was a Knightons plantation, so we purchased it with the trees, and the Knightons hadn't done well here. It was the wrong tree for this particular place. But we could see the possibility of having the right trees on this block and the benefits we could get from that. The price of beef and lamb has gone up significantly, particularly beef at the moment. We're seeing phenomenal prices. And the price of land is really, really high. But we've got to look at things at a whole picture level. So rather than looking at every individual hectare of land being worth a certain amount or potentially producing a certain amount, we're looking at how the system can work as a whole. So for us, having the trees on the farm, it's not just about growing trees for potential harvest, it's also about getting that shelter, which you're then getting direct benefits for your livestock production as well. So if we can increase our lambing survival rate, then we're getting that money back really quickly. If the stock aren't having to burn all their energy to keep warm or having to walk further to find shelter, then they're going to be burning less energy, means their feed requirements will be slightly less. We'll certainly be interested to see what other benefits we might get. So things such as increased ground cover, particularly on areas that aren't suitable for grazing and therefore reducing soil erosion as well. With the woodlot areas, the main financial benefit from them will be from the harvest of them in around 25 years' time. Now, one of the interesting things when you're planting trees is that you're not often planting them thinking that this is something that I might harvest myself, but it's a long-term investment. And that's one of the things that we look at with all our farming, is not what's going to be the best thing for tomorrow, but what's going to be the best thing going forward and for those future generations. We've had a really good success rate with the trees, and the feedback we're getting from our forestry manager and from the contractors has reflected that as well. We're getting really good high percentages for survival, but it's definitely not a matter of just putting them in the ground and leaving them to go. Making sure that fences are up and stock proof, of course, is something that takes a lot of our time, but we've also been able to bring in contractors for things like the weed control, some of the wildlife management. This is their area and they're much more efficient with it than us. It's going to be work that continues, but that's part of farming too.